Baik, Bapak dan Ibu, acara akan segera kami mulai. Sebelum acara pada siang hari ini kita mulai, saya akan informasikan Bapak dan Ibu, untuk acara pada hari ini kita didukung oleh fitur interpretasi, di mana Bapak dan Ibu dapat mengaktifkan fitur melalui Zoom. Bapak Ibu silahkan ke menu interpreter atau icon berbentuk bola dunia di Zoom Bapak dan Ibu. Kemudian untuk berbicara ataupun mendengarkan dalam bahasa Indonesia, silahkan Bapak dan Ibu bisa pilih channel Indonesia. Atau kebalikannya, jika Bapak dan Ibu akan mendengarkan dalam bahasa Inggris, silahkan dipilih untuk bahasa Inggris. Kemudian apabila nanti Bapak dan Ibu mungkin akan membuka mikrofon, jika akan berbicara dalam bahasa Indonesia, silahkan bisa dipilih dulu bahasanya bahasa Indonesia agar nanti suaranya tidak bertabrakan dengan juru bahasa. Terima kasih. Of our capacity building and workshop on quality standardization of extract and quality control assessment in traditional medicine products. Now we are honored to have with us distinguished speakers from PT Pitokemindo, Mr. Patrick A. Kalona. Sir, Western Pacific Region, Dr. An Kyung Han. Chinese Medicine Institute of the National Institute for Food and Drug, Mr. Wei Feng. On benchmarking quality assurance of extract raw materials and finished products. Acting as the moderators for this session is BPOM's Principal Pharmaceutical and Food Safety Specialist, Dr. Andes Tepi Usia, APT MPhil PhD. To our moderators and distinguished speakers, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. MC, yeah. Good afternoon, distinguished delegate, all speaker and participant. How are you today? Fine, yeah. Okay, please. Now we are entering plenary first, session 2, yeah, with the topic about sharing session, benchmarking quality assurance of extracted raw material and finished product from WS expert, yeah, and also WS member from China, and also our expert, yeah, from Indonesia, and Mr. Patrick, yeah. Okay, I would like to display a little bit about this section, yeah. So this section is designed to broaden our understanding, yeah, of how quality assurance mechanisms are implemented for both extracted raw material and also finished product. We will hear best practices, international standard, and also country experience from WHO expert, and also from other regulatory authority from China, yeah, about the exchange, yeah. So we hope through strengthening our benchmarking effort and build more resilient quality assurance system. So I think all participants already know, yeah, our speaker today. We have the three speaker, yeah. The first, Mr. Patrick Colonna from Fito Camindo, yeah. And the second, Dr. Eun Yung Han, yeah. This, usually call her Ailing, Miss Ailing, yeah. Good afternoon, Miss Ailing. Hello, Miss Ailing.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Now in Philippines.
Yes, now I'm in Philippines,
Okay.
Manila.
So nice to meet you in this seminar, this workshop. Okay, and the third speaker, Dr. Feng Wei. Hello, good afternoon, Dr. Wei Feng.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, how are you today?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, it's okay in China?
Yes, I'm in
Okay,
Beijing.
thank you to participate in this workshop. So after a speaker will deliver the speaker, yeah, about 30 minutes. And after all presentation, we will proceed to the discussion and Q&A session 1, yeah. So I encourage all participants to note down question or comment, yeah, which we will address once the speaker have concluded. So without a further delay, let us begin, yeah. I would like to invite this first speaker, Dr. Mr. Colonna, yeah, to deliver the first presentation. So you have the 30 minutes, yeah. This is the floor is yours. Please, Dr. Colonna.
Thank you. Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. First, extend my gratitude to Dr. Tepi, who's kindly moderating this session, and then, a warm welcome to Dr. Eun Hyung Han from the WPRO, and also Dr. Wei Feng, who joins us online. It's my pleasure to be here today, and this opportunity, I will extend the opportunity for myself to explain the general quality assurance and quality practices that we conduct through our experience in our company, but I'm sure this is a widely accepted practice and good general practice practiced by all industries alike in the traditional medicine and herbal extracts here in Indonesia. So with that, I'd like to present next. So just a little bit of background of our company. We are a natural ingredients manufacturer founded by a pharmacist and biotechnologists from the Institute of Technology Bandung. And our founding members had the vision. Thank you. So our founding members had the vision that in 1978, Indonesia would be well fitted to compete on a national level due to its abundance of natural resources and ingredients. And of course, because of its traditional medicinal practice known as jamu, Indonesia would be at the forefront of producing natural ingredients and also products that are known as phytopharmaca here in Indonesia, which are traditional medicine that has been clinically tried in phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 clinical trials. In our company in 1992, we were able to launch the first phytopharmaca known as Remacur, which is a combination of Java turmeric and turmeric, which is both indigenous in the medicinal practice here in Indonesia. So as our company progressed, next, we have ventured into providing natural ingredients from what has started as a laboratory looking into natural remedies. We then ventured into providing ingredients which serve the healthcare industry, of which the formats can be in powder, liquid, or volatile oils. And we also produce ingredients for the cosmetic and personal care, food and beverage, and also a growing market here in Indonesia today is the veterinarian market. As we know that there is a global drive to substitute antibiotics with natural ingredients that can enhance immunity and also the health of our veterinarian livestock. And of course, as part of our services too, we do manufacture finished products in the traditional medicine category and health supplements, which can come in the format of capsules, blisters, tablets, and also in pouches and tea bags. But for the purpose of today's discussion, let me elaborate more on the ingredient manufacturing and the general quality assurance and quality control procedures which we put in place. Next. And with that, we have been in the industry over 35 years, and we manufacture in our site in Kelapa Nunggal, Bogor, and which is currently finishing its certification under the BPOM registration, where we will hopefully obtain our what we know as CPOTB, which is abbreviation for Cara Pembuatan Obat Tradisional yang Baik, and that equates to GMP, which I believe is in line also with WHO guidelines and other references globally. Next. These are a few ingredients which we have manufactured here in Indonesia, and we are quite happy to be able to manufacture these ingredients, which wholly come from Indonesia. The first being, next, what we put as a trade name is Corexol, but really is an indigenous turmeric grown here in Indonesia, known as temulawak, and globally known as Curcuma santorrhiza, in which it's very differentiated to other types of turmeric that is available globally because of its active potent ingredients, the phytochemicals which we know today as curcumin and also santorizol. So this signature ingredient is very commonly used in our jamu and traditional medicinal practice, and also it has been widely researched, both locally and globally, and I believe also it's one of the ingredients that is accepted in the European Medical Environment Association. And of course, recently as a company, in 2024, we continue our preclinical and clinical research in developing further the active potency of this very well-known ingredient in Indonesia. Next, we also have recently put forward also something that is indigenous and well accepted here in Indonesia. Its day-to-day species is called as ikan gabus, or in Latin it's called Channa satriata, in which we believe as a company we try to provide a standardized ingredient, both in its protein and albumin contents. Again, an ingredient which is locally sourced, locally researched, and very widely accepted in the Indonesian traditional and even pharmaceutical practices. Next. And finally, as well, ingredients that we also try to apply in the application of pharmaceutical products does not extend only to health goods. So this is recently another original ingredient known as bunga Kamboja, sourced in Bali, one of the very well-known and visited sites, in which we were quite fortunate this year to be awarded one of the winning ingredients of the Indonesian Cosmetic Ingredients Fair, in which we have here a picture of our beloved head of FDA, Dr. Taruna, visiting and supporting this line of research. So again, looking for naturally sourced ingredients, we standardize its active compounds, in which case this is known to be glycolic acid, which then gives benefits to its consumers with skin brightening, softening the skin, and other potencies as well. Next. So here I come to the core of today's discussion, which I will walk through the general steps in which we will look at the best practices which we have adopted on the basis of the GMP or CPOTB extraction guidelines. So we will look at the extraction production process. Later, we also set the quality assurance and quality control parameters for the raw materials we receive, the plant-based extracts, and also we look at, on the third part, we look at the handling of the raw materials and plant extracts, because again, these are practices that are stipulated in our guidelines, but most importantly, we have to adhere to ensure that the quality meets the GMP standards set by our BPOM and Indonesian FDA. And finally, the guidelines also looks into the distribution of plant extracts to ensure the consistency, the quality, and safety of the product. So we look into the extract production flow process. Next. So again, a very general flow chart, which I believe most participants would be well aware. But for today's discussion, just a quick reminder. So we get the raw materials, which we source from the various communities here in Indonesia, in which case, when the raw materials come, there's a process of preparation, whether that is a sortation, cleaning, and also standardizing its method. Later, once the product is prepared, it is then later processed into the extraction chamber, in which there will be a combination use of different solvents. And in accordance to our GMP guidelines, the most allowable solvents could be water or ethanol base, but in certain circumstances, our FDA and BPOM have also issued guidelines on how to use other non-polar solvents, which can also enhance metabolites or active ingredients during the extraction process. Later, from this process of extraction, we'll produce a certain level of liquid or viscous ingredients, which then goes through an evaporation process, in which case each company or each product will have its own technical know-hows on what standards of heat, time, and also quality parameters to ensure that the product is designed for its use. Later, it's passed through a sterilization process, in which at this stage we have a in-process quality control to check that the liquid extract meets the target safety and quality parameters. Once this quality control check is complete, then we continue on with the next level of evaporation for the particular ingredient. And finally, after going through another quality control check, to probably look at its physical aspects and also its other quality parameters such as the total solid of the ingredient. Then it is put through a drying process, which again could go through different methodologies and technologies. And finally, once it's completed, in this case, this simulation is for a dried powder extract. The dried powder extract will then go through a final quality control check, which we will discuss the quality parameters in the next slide presentation. Next. So, really control points we saw during that flow chart can be one, the plant extraction temperature. So the size of the raw material is relevant to what solvent is being used and also what temperature is required to ensure the target quality is achieved. Then second, we also understand that there are different methods of extraction, and the methods of extraction, again, as I mentioned briefly in the flow chart, would depend on what raw materials are being used, what solvents, and what parts of the particular plant raw material is put through the process. And finally, as we mentioned and we understand that in extracting metabolites, there are types of solvents which provide a more optimal outcome in the case that each raw material would be different. But again, the combination of water, ethanol, and in some instances, there are some products which go through a more rigorous fractionation or isolation process, may use solvents such as hexane and other methanol and other ingredients. And again, there are very strict guidelines which our BPOM has put out that requires us by statutory right to check and to validate that there is no residual solvents in the products that we distribute and make. Next. Again, other control point processes that to be observed during that flow chart, again, is the amount of solvent. There's the temperature. In some instances, we know that certain temperatures is optimized for the maximum extraction of metabolites and active ingredients. And finally, we also look at the conditions during the process because this would determine the optimal amount of temperature, type of solvent, and duration of solvent extraction use to get the final product. Next. And other guidelines which we have taken as our quality control parameters for raw materials, references which I believe most of our industries here in Indonesia adhere to. Of course, there are editions of our herbal pharmacopoeia, of which the latest edition has been issued in 2022. And again, the Pharmacopoeia Herbal Indonesia would contain monographic techniques on how to identify plant extracts and also the different standardization methods available for our industries to adapt and to comply. And also in the same instance, we can also look at other references such as the MMI, or known as Materia Medica Indonesia, of which the last edition of that was in 1995. Again, it set out different methods of identification and standardization for the raw materials in the extraction process. And finally, as we may be aware, that Indonesia houses over 30,000 species of plants and over 1,387 medicinal plants. Sometimes industries develop internal specifications of quality control measures because it may not all be available in the references domestically. Next. other type of parameters which we set out when we do quality control. Firstly, there's an identification of raw materials. Both we can look at the macroscopic levels of how a specific ingredient is looked upon. So in this particular example, we take daun binahong, which is again indigenous in Indonesia. We can look at it from macroscopic material observation, or we can also look at it from a microscopic level of identification. Again, these are parameters we set to ensure that the quality and the consistency of the ingredients stay the same. Next. Other physical parameters which, again, we place on the incoming raw materials to ensure the consistency in the flow of the extraction process. There are parameters such as loss on drying, total ash content, acid insoluble ash, water soluble extract, and ethanol soluble extracts. So these are just examples with the different levels of parameters which need to be adhered to ensure that the quality control on the raw material is consistent. Next. Other methods which we also look at during the plant extract process is to ensure that the availability and the residual solvents can be examined through a qualitative method and a quantitative method. One of the ways that this has been set out, in a very simplistic form, we have been accustomed to the use of thin layer chromatography, in which case this is another way where we are able to do quality control to ensure that there are no unwanted residual solvents in the observation of the raw materials in the plant extracts. And of course, in recent times, there are also applications of other technologies, such as the gas chromatography, which is, again, another method to ensure that there are no residual solvents in plant extracts or its raw materials. Next. And then looking at the finished product side of the raw materials. So these are the references, again, used for the finished plant extract product itself. We've mentioned already the use of the Pharmacopoeia Herbal Indonesia, Materi Medica Indonesia, but of course, there are other specifications we look upon, whether that may be the USP, in which there are guidelines set out in USP 46, NF 41. We also look to other countries, specifically Dr. Wei would know the Chinese Pharmacopoeia. And of course, most recently, our BPOM as well has come out with a decree known as the Peraturan Badan POM nomor 29. So that's number 29, 2023, which stipulates the requirements of safety and quality for natural ingredients and also traditional medicine. Next. Other parameters which are set as well in the plant extracts, which we as industry have to follow and adhere to. Nevertheless, we have to look at the organoleptic qualities to see the physical appearance, the taste, and properties which are adherent in the plant extract. We also look at the physical elements, which look into the water content, the type of extracts, the total solid and bulk density of extracts. And of course, finally, for any standardized plant extract itself, there are qualitative and quantitative measures put in place according to the active ingredient which we standardize in the final product. Next. Other parameters, again, stipulated by our BPOM, which has to be contained in the general certificates of analysis. So those are the documents which verify the safety, quality, and characteristics of the plant extract product. We have microbiological contamination parameters set out from total plague count, yeast and mold count, and most recently the addition of Shigella also in the final product. We also have stipulation to check the total aflatoxins, whether that may be B1, B2, G1, and G2. Again, there are restrictive guidelines on the amount not exceeding 20 milligrams per kilogram, and for B1 not to exceed 5 micrograms per kilogram. And again, these are just examples of the parameters set out. And finally as well, in heavy metal contamination, we set out the 4 parameters there to ensure that at the end product of the plant extract, we do not exceed lead, cadmium, arsenic, and mercury safety requirements. Next. Again, it was mentioned earlier, residual solvents is also part of the safety parameters which we put in place. And as you can see in the presentation, there are different levels of residual solvents put forward, whether that may be ethanol, hexane, ethyl acetate, or methanol, in which usually the industry in question should have a GCMS equipment to validate and ensure that no residual solvents are left in the product. Next. Again, as we can go through it, there's quite an extensive checklist or conditions which are set out in the standards set out by our BPOM and FDA, where we look at the raw material specifications. We can see on the checklist on the left-hand side, which is quite extensive, over 15 items to detail and to disclose. And also for our internal methods, on the right side, equally there's around 15 checklist items to look forward to. But I think what I would like to bring to the attention of everyone here today is the importance to have the reference for analysis results, which usually can be done, again, through analytical methodology, whether it's using spectrometry equipment, chromatogram, or any other scientifically analytical validation method, which is acceptable for this purpose. Next. And finally, as any manufacturing base of any plant-based ingredients has to display its certificates of analysis, again, detailing all the parameters which are set out. And again, this is the basis of our, industries to look upon to ensure that the quality, safety, and effectiveness of the product is in line by ensuring that these specific parameters can be tested and checked in each respective production site. Next. Again, going through quite an extensive checklist as we have gone through today. There are things that make up the GMP practice of raw material handling, in which case we see that incoming raw materials should be received at a certain level of transparency and also documentation. Equally as important is the raw material storage, of which the incoming material we have has to be stored in the right temperature, humidity, and there are specific guidelines to ensure that the shelf life of the ingredients are stated in the specifications. And the next part of the verification as well is the raw material quality inspection, of which at this specific process, the quality control will determine whether the ingredients should be approved or rejected. And again, there are Hull's mechanism in place to see whether the product is rejected. And finally, in many cases, of course, it's very challenging to process raw materials as there are some variations. So there are reprocessing of raw materials if necessary, if the raw material does not meet the quality inspection. Next. And again, part of the GMP practice, which we have here, CPOTB or GMP, looks at the extract product inspection, of which at the line of production, it is critical that there are inspection points taking place, again, in a similar fashion with the raw material. At every stage of checking, there should be an approve or reject process. And equally as important is the storage of the extract product. So once completed, meeting all the quality control checks, it should be put in a storage which meets the right temperature, condition, and signage. And finally, in the distribution, it's equally as important to ensure that the distribution of product from one point to another still adheres to the same temperature and quality assurances in the delivery process.
Mr.
Finally,
Patrick,
next.
2 minutes more.
2 minutes, yeah, next. Yeah, I think again, briefly touch this about the distribution condition, distribution arm, and the duration is equally important. Next. And finally, really, what we have learned in this benchmarking exercise, that the selection of plant-based ingredients should follow the right certifications in Indonesia, which may be from the Ministry of Health with the IEBA certification and CPOTB, GMP certification from our FDA. And the form of document that we hold here as a common practice in industry is the acquisition of a certificate of analysis, which ensures the accuracy of the data source and traceability of the products used. And the quality assurance of extract really begins from the raw material through the production and distribution of the extract product. Next. Yeah,
Okay.
and finally, I'd like to take this opportunity to extend our gratitude for the big amount of support from our Indonesian FDA, BPOM, for the guidelines put in place, which ensure that the products manufactured here in Indonesia and certified by BPOM meets safety, quality, and efficacy measures. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick. Okay, thank you, Mr. Patrick, for the very comprehensive presentation. Yeah, I think we see the many points. Yeah, how to prepare the extract. Yeah, how to do the quality control and standardization for the raw material. Yeah, and also for the information. Yeah, Phytokemindo is a supply. Yeah, for the extract. Yeah, so there maybe for the company cannot prepare the extract alone, yeah, by yourself. Yeah, maybe you can order, yeah, in Phytokemindo, because they already follow so many parameter standard how to prepare the standard for extract, and also to do the testing, yeah, especially for the contaminant and also the heavy metal and other. So maybe for more detail, yeah, we have the visit, yeah, time in the Thursday, yeah, the day after tomorrow, yeah, we have the time to visit, yeah, Phytokemindo and other company, Indopharma, yeah. So depend for your chosen, yeah, you can choose also for Phytokemindo. So next speaker, yeah, this is Miss Aileen, yeah, this is from the technical officer Y Pro WSO, yeah. So Mr. Aileen will deliver the title with the quality assurance in traditional medicine. So, Ms. Aileen, your time 30 minutes from now, yeah. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. So first of all, I'd like to check if the screen is okay, because I prepared a presentation slide. So I'm just wondering if it comes well in the screen.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
Can see, yeah.
Thank you so much. So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Eileen Eun-kyung-han. I'm a technical officer for the WHO, the regional office for the Western Pacific in Manila, Philippines. And I'm very much honored and very pleased today to introduce WHO's efforts aimed at promoting international collaboration, strengthening safety and efficacy, supporting regulatory harmonization, and enhancing the capacity of the traditional medicine related systems. So I do look forward to further strengthening collaboration at the global and the regional level. So I'm just wondering if you can see the photo in here. The first photo that I'm sharing now.
Okay.
Do you see the HPLC machine?
Yeah, yeah. This is the first page.
Yes, perfect. So I just like to share the screenshot of the HPLC machine in the laboratory, like a national laboratory in one of our member countries that the participants of the laboratory capacity building are utilizing to detect aflatoxin in the herbal extract. And actually that herbal extract that we used, it was also a kind of a curcumin. And then I was really delighted to see at the beginning Dr. Kalona kindly introduced about temulawak, and then I do believe this is very one of the familiar ingredients that member states in the Western Pacific region is also very much aware of. And with the constant increase in the use of herbal medicines worldwide and the rapid expansion of the global market, the safety and quality of extract and finished herbal products has become a major consideration for health authorities, pharmaceutical industries, and of course to the public. The safety and efficacy of herbal medicines largely depend on their quality. And here we can see the core indicator related to the product regulation of the traditional medicine. Actually, in 2017, we started to use this terminology, traditional, complementary, and integrated medicine. And if you can see the highlighted part in here, so TNCM product, which includes the key indicators that can be utilized to measure the level of quality assurance in one member country. And it's reference to the national essential medicines list and proportion of the licensed manufacturers that meet GMP standard, and also existence of a reference laboratory and existence of a national adverse event reporting system or ADR system for the products. Also, to the bottom of the table, you can see this existence of a conservation and a cultivation program to protect biodiversity and endangered species. So, of course, this biodiversity term and concept is also already incorporated in the framework suggested by the WHO. And from here, I would like to briefly walk you through the newly endorsed global traditional medicine strategy from WHO, which is up to the next 10 years from 2025 to 34. Traditional, complementary, and integrative medicine is widely used across the world and plays an important role in healthcare system in many countries. And the integration level is very different across different member states. But to some extent, they are most often integrated into primary healthcare and supports families and communities in addressing a wide range of health conditions. It is not limited to traditional knowledge systems, but contributes to managing both minor ailments and severe diseases. So it's playing a key role in a modern healthcare, of course. WHO is supporting member states to ensure the safety, efficacy, and quality of the TCIM and to promote its development in an evidence-based and person-centered practice. And here you can see in May, just a few months ago, it was endorsed in the World Health Assembly, and the details are articulated by 4 strategic objectives or strategic action points. And one of them is clearly about the safety and quality of the TCIM product and practices. So let me go over about that right in a second. First one is the strategic objective, strengthening the evidence base for TCIM. So here we can also understand that the sound and solid scientific knowledge and evidence could also contribute to inform the decision on the policymakers and regulators, and of course the key stakeholders, including partners from the industry and then researchers. So the directions to achieve this strategic objective, first one is about the facilitating the high quality research as well as exploring research approaches, including the development on the methodologies to rightly capture the value of the TCIM. And then the second strategic objective is rightly about the supporting the provision of the safe and effective TCIM through appropriate regulatory mechanisms. So first direction is regulatory mechanisms for products, and second direction is more about the regulatory mechanisms for practices. But of course, we do observe many occasions that products and practices are intercommunicating each other because the prescribed herbal medicine or drugs are often exclusively provided by the practitioners in some cases. But still, let me emphasize on the first direction, which is about the regulatory mechanism for products. So that's about establishing norms and standards for products, ensuring safety, quality, and efficacy. And then the third one is integrating safe and effective TCIM into health systems, which is about the incorporating into legal and then policy and regulatory framework, both in national and subnational level, and also about the facilitating across the care continuum in terms of the integration of the TCIM services. And then the final one as a strategic objective is optimizing cross-sector value of TCIM and empower communities. So the direction is including the TCIM in multidisciplinary cross-sector policies, as well as promote approaches to protect traditional knowledge, meaning sharing of benefit from community, returning it to the communities. And this is the map updated in 18 June this year. So I am currently working in the Western Pacific Regional Office of the World Health Organization. And I just wanted to quickly share you with this map indicating the countries and areas of this region, obviously including Indonesia. Now we are all together 38 member states, countries and areas in this region. And fully aligned with the global strategy that I just introduced now, we also have the Western Pacific Regional Framework for the traditional medicine, which is also having like 4 different strategic objectives, but it's more emphasizing the regional context. And if I may just walk you through quickly, the promoting defining traditional medicine in national policies, and strengthening context-specific mechanisms to ensure quality and safety, and also improving coverage and equitable access to services, as well as promote documentation, research, and innovation for services. From now on, I'd like to introduce you in a more detail of the components of the regulatory system and then how quality assurance topics are closely related to this topic. So appropriate regulatory mechanisms are crucial for TCIM to safeguard the public from unsafe or substandard product and services, of course. A risk-based regulatory approach is well suited to TCIM, tailoring regulatory requirement to the specific type of products or services based on safety and efficacy. First of all, we can think about the legal framework, which can function as a foundation and then provides the definition of the key concepts and also working as an enabler of harmonization of any international regulatory framework. And structure of the National Regulatory Authority involves establishing participatory mechanisms, quality control measures, standard and labeling requirements, as well as ensuring that the intended use is justified and the rationale. And then next one, also very importantly, core regulatory functions include market authorization, pharmacovigilance, market control, licensing and inspection, and lab testing, as well as clinical trial in some cases. And finally, GXPs, when I say this, is common known as good practices. For one of the good example might be GMP. So GMP and then GACP and other GXPs, like those guidelines, they are critical to make consistency of quality and patient safety. And the quality management system, of course, QMS, will ensure safe supply of quality assured product to end users. Components and the challenges of the TCIM product regulation. Firstly, on the left side, you can see this table outlines the pre-market procedures, while the right side articulates the post-market procedures. So this is overall the outline of the national regulatory system that we observe in many member countries, particularly for the products. And emphasizing both pre-market and post-market functions. In the left side, the pre-market stage, authorities oversee clinical trials, license premises, GMPs, grant product registration and marketing authorization, and ensure laboratory access and testing goes smoothly connected throughout this whole process of the pre-market and post-market. And then, of course, in the post-market surveillance and control process will be also critical to empower the regulatory authority and then ensure the public safety. So these processes guarantee that products meet safety, quality, and efficacy standards before entering the market as well as after coming to the market. So regulatory functions focus on this enforcement of each components might be the following topics as I continue. And then from this slide, I'd like to introduce some of the key results regarding the quality assurance of the herbal medicine that was captured in the third WHO Global Survey on Traditional, Complementary, and Integrative Medicine. So recently, this was released in the public, so you can also access through a public link, and then you can browse the topics that you're interested by clicking at each topics. But let me share with you some of the results about the product regulation and quality assurance here. So this result is regardless of the all 6 region of the WHO. So it's at the global level, a total of 106 member states participated in responding this survey. And then you can see that almost more than half responded that the good manufacturing practices or GMP is available already for herbal medicines in each country. But there are also considerable amount of countries that responded they do not have the GMP available. And then for those who said no, we further questioned whether the GMP is being established. And you can still see that some of the countries are not having the occasion of the establishing the GMP. But if the countries have already established a product system of the GMP, then the most of them responded that it is aligned with the WHO guidelines. And for those who had the establishment of the GMP system, what are the number of the percentage of licensed TCIM manufacturers that meet the domestic GMP requirement? And then you can see that more than half of them responded that are more than 20%, up to 100%. This one is a result extracted for the Western Pacific country region at the time point of the research is being conducted, survey was being conducted, which was 2023. But in the future, should we have any results for this Western Pacific, definitely Indonesia will be also incorporated in the result. And in the Wipro region, we can see slight change, but proportionally, you can see the similar trend as well as the global trend that I shared with you just right now. And all the member countries who established the GMP, then they responded that is aligned with the WHO guidelines. And this slide is about the manufacturing regulation and quality. So this is about the compliance component. Are mechanisms in place to ensure compliance with other manufacturing requirements? So most of them say yes. And then how is the compliance ensured? And then most member states responded more than one option. And the most frequently used options was periodic inspections by authorities at manufacturing plants or laboratories, as well as manufacturers are required to submit samples of their medicines to a government-approved laboratory for testing. So the survey results show that in the countries where the regulatory measures do exist, compliance is mainly managed through inspections, testing, and quality assurance reporting systems. Most countries try to ensure regulatory compliance either through direct government inspections, sample testing requirements, or by mandating internal quality assurance officers, human resources. But you can also see that 31% of countries still lack a regulatory enforcement mechanism, which should be also like shared priorities for the regional level as well as the global level. On the right side, you can see that what regulations apply to the manufacture of herbal medicines to ensure their quality. Once again, member state had more than one option that they can apply as yes. And then we can see like it differs by the cases, but adherence to manufacturing information in pharmacopoeia or monograph was very frequently used as the other option, which is applying same regulations for GMP as for conventional pharmaceuticals. Components and challenges. Secondly, I'd like to capture about the brief process from cultivation, production, registration to post-market surveillance. And in this process, laboratory access and testing, of course, sits very importantly. And the lack of equipment and capacity was pointed out from many member states as the points to be improved. And the point which WHO can further support. So role of the WHO Secretariat to enhance regulatory mechanism of the TCIM product as well as the quality assurance included developing standard, develop, update, and disseminate guidelines, technical document, and tools support regulatory mechanisms, including, of course, pharmacovigilance, and develop standardized terminologies and international classification, as well as enhancing the IRCH, which I will talk briefly later, which is about one of the key actors on harmonizing herbal medicine guidelines at an international level. WHO guidelines, I will go briefly about this. So here are some of the key guidelines developed from WHO, and then international standards are established step by step, raw materials, GACP, and then processing related to GHPP, which is the guidelines on good herbal processing practices. and toward the manufacturing, of course, GMP. In addition, testing and verification methods such as chemical fingerprinting, the use of reference standards, and DNA authentication as needed are being actively discussed in the regional level as well as at the global level. And WHO's role, providing guidelines, recommending the use of reference materials, promoting regulatory harmonization, and conducting capacity building training is consistently being requested by the member states. And one of the efforts that WHO at the global level can introduce to the member states includes the development of an international herbal pharmacopoeia. So there was a need for establishing a common standard, a guideline document, and the international herbal pharmacopoeia to ensure the quality of traditional medicine, just like the WHO International Pharmacopoeia for Pharmaceuticals is designed to provide international recommendations and is expected to be very valuable for countries, especially those established standards are lacking. And we, of course, expect that countries can exchange knowledge and then transfer the skills needed to harmonize the skills and capacity related to this. So the next step, at the current stage, in the last year, we had the international meeting to establish this IHP, and then expert group and technical task force will continue the working under the Strategic Technical Advisory Group for TCIM to support the development and completion of the WHO IHP. This one is about the regional office of the Western Pacific's effort on laboratory capacity building for quality control testing of TCIM product. You can see this hands-on training and topics covered in the training. This year, just a few weeks ago, the training covered the following topics of active ingredients and contaminants. So like Dr. Colonna also briefed in his previous presentation, determination of the moisture, water, analysis of the heavy metals, and then detection of pesticides residues, detection of mycotoxins, in this case it was aflatoxin, and also quantification of the active ingredients in medicinal herbs were covered comprehensively during this training, which includes hands-on training and also the theoretical training. So following to the introduction on the capacity building, I'd like to also go through the WHO's current efforts in regulatory harmonization. Of course, so far we already discussed in pieces about the harmonization effort initiated and facilitated by WHO, but just to check on the main themes and objectives. So these were done to reduce gaps in safety and quality due to regulatory differences in member states in different regions, and to strengthen the regulatory capacity and in particularly for resource-limited settings as well. And finally, to expand access to medicines to end users and tackle public health issues. One of the collaboration that WHO is also being progressive is the collaboration with the ASEAN. And the ASEAN consists of 10 member countries, with the ASEAN member states largely overlapping with the countries in the Western Pacific region, as well as the Southeast Asian region of the WHO. And there has been ASEAN guidelines on GMP for traditional medicine. And more recently, there has been another technical document on the status on the biodiversity and nutrition and traditional medicine to facilitate the international collaboration on how to make the measures and regulatory framework more feasible across different member countries. And another effort that I'd like to introduce briefly here is about the International Regulatory Cooperation for the Herbal Medicines, IRCH. So up to 15 annual meetings has been conducted so far with the WHO. And then now
Dr.
the
Eileen,
meeting...
your time is 2 minutes more.
Okay, thank you. So the 16th annual meeting of the IRCH is being organized and prepared. So this IRCH, established in 2006 as a global network of regulatory authorities responsible for regulation of herbal medicines, to collaborate and share the best practices to help WHO and its recommendations to the members on improving the regulation of herbal medicines. The last one I'd like to share regarding the collaborative effort in harmonization is FHH, Forum for Harmonization of the Herbal Medicines, which facilitates the exchange of the regulatory information on herbal medicine standard, analytical method, and quality assessment technologies. With 3 subcommittees, the work scope include pharmacopoeia and development of the FAH atlas and the reference material of medicinal plant material. So it has the cases of harmonizing the standards for the Angelica gigas, and as well as these days they are currently working on Pinelia termata at their finalization stage. And then WHO benchmarking process, I'd like to briefly show you the overall benchmarking process for the medicines, applying the risk-based approach with the development of the institutional development plan, as well as implementation of that IDP. So in many member states, it already has been experienced, and then countries and areas have developed the IDPs for the pharmaceuticals or the traditional medicines. But if we may propose actions to strengthen TCIM regulatory system for member states, those who already have the WHO GBT experience, they can review and then identify the gaps of the traditional medicine related regulatory gaps and quality assurance issues. And then IDPs can develop with the national regulatory authorities to monitor the progress regularly. This is the key technical issues of the herbal medicines with the herb-drug interaction, one of the recent publication by WHO. Lastly, I want to emphasize once again of the concept of the biodiversity in line with the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora and other applicable international conventions and national legislation. So WHO is definitely encouraging sustainable practices in the production, supply, use, and disposal of TCIM products that contribute to the preservation and repopulation of endangered species. So this has been all I've got, and thank you so much for your kind participation in this meeting and presentation. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Miss Dr. Eileen, for the very nice presentation. I think it's very comprehensive to describe what is the WSO achievement or strategy about herbal medicine. Thank you, Dr. Eileen. So
Thank
maybe
you.
the next speaker, the Dr. Feng Wei, from the China National Institute for Food and Drug Control. Okay, Dr. Feng Wei, your time 30 minutes. And
Yes,
after
yes.
that, maybe we can continue for a discussion and Q&A. Okay, please, Dr. Wei Feng.
Okay. Can you see my presentation?
Yeah, it's okay. We can
Okay. So, good afternoon, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Wei Feng from Institute for Control of Traditional Traditional Medicine, National Institute for Food and Drug Control, which is under the National Medical Product Administration of China. So I'm also the director of WHO Collaboration Center for Herbal Medicine. So it's my privilege to share China's systematic approach to quality assurance of traditional Chinese medicine and its extracts. It's a journey that harmonizes ancient wisdom with modern regulatory science. So as you may know, for TCM, traditional medicine, we have a concept at the regulatory scope of traditional medicine. And the TCM is a general term for the medicines of all ethnic groups in China, including those of the Han and ethnic minorities. It is a medical system that reflects the Chinese nation's understanding of life, health, and disease, and has a long history, unique theories, and technical methods. It refers to the medicinal substances and their preparations used under the guidance of traditional Chinese medicine theories. So at similar, we have a name of natural medicine, but it is different from TCM. For natural medicines, it refers to natural medicinal substances and their preparations used under the guidance of modern medical theories, uh, which is noted from the traditional Chinese medicine theories, uh, which can be derived from plants and animals. So about the regulation, National Medical Product Administration is responsible for the supervision of TCM, and it also responsible the supervision and manage all things involved in the cultivation and breeding, harvesting, processing, preparation, and research and development, production, operation, and use of traditional Chinese medicine, which is to ensure the quality, safety, and effectiveness of traditional Chinese medicine, meet the clinical needs of TCM and safeguard the public health. That's the NMTA. So for the products, there are many types of TCM products, including the crude drugs and prepared slices, and also extracts like this, and decoction pieces like this, and also formula granules, formula granules, and which is ready to use hospital preparations, and some minority ethnic medicines like this, and Chinese priority proprietary medicines like this. So there are many kinds of traditional Chinese medicine products in the market. So my presentation includes the 4 parts. First is the legal and regulatory system. So in China, NMPA, National Medical Products Administration, has established integrated legal and regulatory system, including a robust legal infrastructure to ensure TCM quality. The traditional Chinese medicine law and the drug administration law and its implementation regulations, and a complete set of management measures covering the, for example, the registration, production, distribution, and inspection, etc. This multi-layered system provides legal foundation for quality assurance. And in recent years, we have taken serious measures to further strengthen the scientific regulation and promote the inheritance and the innovation of TCM products, including many significant measures. For example, the first is strengthening the quality management of TCM products from its source, and strengthening the supervision of decoction-ready formula granules of TCMs, and also optimize the management of ready-to-use preparations in TCM medical institutions, improve review and approval mechanism of registration, and also strengthen the post-market supervision and improve the standard labor and promote global cooperation. And considering the characteristics of TCM, we have special legal and regulatory system and a series of regulations have been issued. For example, the special provisions of the registration administration of TCMs, and it's okay. And requirements for classification and application materials of traditional type medicine registration, and also special provisions of the standard management of TCMs, and the regulations of the management of decoction-ready formula granules, and also some notice or strengthening the supervision and management of extraction and extracts in the production of TCM products. And for the TCM decoction-ready formula granules, these granules are made from single Chinese herbal decoction pieces through water extraction, separation, concentration, drying, and granulation. And the guidance of traditional Chinese medicine theory, they are formulated according to clinical prescriptions of TCM and are used by patients to dissolve in water for consumption. So these granules have been incorporated into the management scope of decoction pieces. In clinical use, it has the feature of being taken immediately after being dissolved in hot water. So it's very easy and has the advantage of flexible compatibility. So this is very popular in market recent years. The decoction-ready formula granules. And for the traditional Chinese medicine extracts that have been specified in the national drug standard prescriptions in terms of Chinese proprietary medicine and have separate national drug standard, which need a funny management system shall be implemented. So for the extractions, there are many kinds of extracts, herbal extracts in the market, but for the TCM use, we need a fire management system and shall be implemented according to the GMP. So it's very regulatory strictly supervision. We also have some guidelines for the TCM preparations of the quality control, like technical guidelines for the treatment of raw material of TCM and other guidelines like this. And these guidelines covers the quality control throughout the entire production process, from traditional Chinese medicine materials, decoction pieces, to finished products. And this is also some guidelines for TCM preparations for the quality control. So these are some legal and regulatory system. The second part is the production and the quality assurance. For production and quality assurance, under drug administration law and the TCM law, China's multi-layered governance ensures compliance across the TCM life cycle, especially for the regulations of GXP systems. For example, some like GAP, GMP, GLP, and GSP, which is adapted for the TCM characteristics and enforcement, rigorous pre- or post-market inspections. For quality assurance, many GMP provisions and requirements can be enforced. For example, like drugs are designed and developed in a way that takes account of the requirements of GMP. And production and quality control operations are in compliance with GMP. And many responsibilities are clearly specified, also like these requirements. And for the safety assurance, we also many regulatory measures can be implemented, optimize, and improve post-market surveillance and strengthen supervision over operation and circulation, and also organize special inspections of production and conduct special rectification of Chinese decoction-ready medicines, like this. And the third part is standard system. For the TCM standard of China, we have two-level standard. First level is national standard, includes the Chinese pharmacopoeia standard approved by the Ministry of Health and the standard approved by the National Medical Product Administration. For the local standards, is includes the local standard of Chinese mathematics, which is used is the crude drug used in the provincial locals. At the local processing procedures of prepared slices. These are, and for Chinese pharmacopoeia, we have four sections, volumes. And volume one is about the TCM products. Volume two is chemical drugs. Volume three is biological products. And volume four is general chapters and pharmaceutical excipients. For volume one, TCM pharmacopoeia, it includes preface, history of pharmacopoeia, and general notices. And the main part is photographs and index. Here is a history and development of varieties included in the Chinese pharmacopoeia. It shows steadily increased from 78 of the year 1953 to 3069 varieties of the year 2025. So we can see a steady increase in the varieties of the same products in the pharmacopoeia. For the structure of the pharmacopoeia 1.1, the general notice are uniform regulation that basic requirements for the correct use of photographs and general chapters, and common annotations about the experiments of gun control. And for the monographs, based on physical, chemical characteristics and biological properties of the drugs, formulation and processing, manufacturing techniques, as well as conditions for storage and transportation that are authorized officially. Monographs as technical requirements in order to determine if the quality of the drug is for medical use, stable and homogeneous. And the content of monographs include three parts. First part is crude drug and prepared slices of TCMs. And the second part is oil, fats, and extracts. Up to now, we have 47 species of extracts in Chinese pharmacopoeia. And the third part is compound and single herbal preparations of TCM. The main inclusions of the monograph of each drug according to different preparations of dosage or dosage form is stated with respect to following orders, like the title, source, ingredients, procedure, description, identification, test, extractive, characteristic chromatograph or fingerprints, assay, process or crude drugs, property and flavor, and meridian tropism, action and indications, administration and dosage, precautions and warnings, spacing, storage, preparation and dosage form, etc. Here is an example for the herbal extracts monographs. For the herbal extracts, the monograph includes contains like a title, source, ingredients, procedure, description, identification, taste, and characteristic chromatogram or fingerprint, assay, storage, and preparation at dosage form. This is a fingerprints of lactase total saponis extracts. The last part is IFDC, that is my institute, technical support and service for supervision. This is a framework of our institute for control of TCM. Up to date, we have more than 120 members, including staff, postdoc, and master PhD students, and some trainees from local professional institutes. And we have five divisions, including crude drugs and prepared synthesis, and Chinese proprietary medicine and natural medicine, include the extracts and ethnic medicine and TCM herbal. And for the responsibility, I think we have seven mainly responsibilities. First is inspection and testing, and second is reference standards, development, and manufacture. And third is standard formulation and revision. And four is herbal room. And five is regulatory science research. Six is training, and then the international cooperation. So first is test and inspection, includes the registration, post-marketing, pre-marketing, test and surveillance, monitoring, and contract test, port entry, and attribution testing of TCM products. So this is for the testing. And for the development of reference standards for TCM, it's exclusive authority of national reference standard for TCM initiated from 1985. So up to date, we have set up a award-winning technique of reference standard for herbal medicines, including the herbal material reference standards and the chemical reference standards and herbal extractive reference standard. Totally more than 1,600 kinds of reference standards, covering all national TCM standards, including the Chinese pharmacopoeia use. This is an example of three kinds of reference standards. This is CRS, chemical reference standard, and this is simple. And here is HMRS, that means herbal material reference standard. And this is herbal extractive reference standards. We can see this reference standard is very have very unique and have more information of TCM products and also as for HMRS, it is very easily obtained and cheap and have more comprehensive chemical and DNA information. So it's very useful and convenient in quality control of TCM products, and as is now in recent years commonly used in quality control of pharmacopoeia, Chinese pharmacopoeia. For foundation, revision, technical review, and verification of standard for TCM products. This is for.
Sorry, Dr. Wen, your time
Yes.
2 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. For pesticides, heavy metals, mycotoxins, and sulfur dioxide for the pharmacopoeia. And for prediction, identification, vegetable, and TCM specimens, we have a herbarium which have more than 70,000 specimens. And for regulatory science of TCMs, mainly focus on safety control, authenticity, identification, and quality evaluation. This is the modernization of traditional identification technology. And we also have our internationally leading safety testing platform and risk assessment system for toxic and hazardous substances in TCM. And also we have set up a new quality evaluation strategy that meets the characteristics of TCMs. So this is includes the establishment of indicators, quality indicators, and the integration of indicators and finally the evaluation of standards. And that's all for my presentation. And this building you can see is the new laboratory building at the Station Herbarium Museum, which is the new building. We will be moved into and put into use 2 years later. So I think it's a new starting point and a new journey, new achievements. I want to welcome all friends and colleagues to visit our institute in Beijing. And thanks for your attention. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Wei Feng. Xie. Okay. So all speaker, thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, now we still have time about 30 minutes for discussion and Q&A. Yeah. So I think we already understand. Yeah. I hope you understand and you know about the contents of the three speakers. Yeah. And if you have a question, yeah, please raise your hand or submit your question via chat platform, yeah, for the participant in the daring, yeah. So please introduce yourself before addressing your question. Yeah. So maybe first I open question for the participant in this room. Please, if you have the question, yeah, please raise your hand. So please.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Asri from Dexa
Yeah.
Medica. I would like to convey my appreciation to Dr. Aileen, hope I pronounce correctly, from WHO. It's a good opportunity to be here today because this is the first time, I think, I heard about WHO Global Traditional Medicine Strategy. So regarding this, may I know how many countries that has adopted this WHO strategy? That's the first question. And second, for Dr. Wei Feng from FDA China. For us in herbal industry in Indonesia, TCM is always fascinating. Yeah, we as a country with abundant biodiversity always feel envy about the TCM, how they grow and how people in China really use this TCM. China government put a strong foundation to support industry to innovate this TCM area. So the one that make me curious is we noticed that in China it's common for severe patient receive injection or infusion, but the content is herbal extract, not drug molecule. So could you share to us the regulation in China that make herbal extract injection is acceptable to be used for hospitalized patient? Yeah, I see many China patient, even Indonesian patient that severe with the cancer, going to China, to Guangzhou, let's say, and get injection with the extract herbal injection. Yeah, so it's fascinating about this innovation, and maybe you can share to us the regulation in China to support this product to be able to be used in for the patient. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Asi. Yeah. Okay, maybe we ask this is two questions, yeah. One question for Dr. Aileen, and the second for Dr. Wei Feng, yeah. Okay, please, Dr. Aileen.
Thank you so much for the great question. Are you hearing me well? Okay. Yes, let me respond to the first question. So in terms of the global strategy, so all the member states in the global level, sorry, the representatives are gathering in the World Health Assembly to adopt the excuse me. So all the member states are delegating and representing in the World Health Assembly every May in once a year. So that's the organizing committee making decision on the adoption of the new global strategy. So the previous version of the global traditional medicine strategy was endorsed during the period of 2011 to 23, which was extended to the 25. And then this May, by the member states' delegation and representativeness, the new strategy was endorsed as the new global strategy of WHO in terms of the traditional medicine. So that has been the process regarding the adoption and then endorsement of that strategy. So hope I could answer that question in that way.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Aileen. So this second question, please, Dr. Feng.
Yes. So in China, TCM, the government is very busy take some actions at minimum for the species TCMs, and we the TCMs serve for the health equal as the Western medicines. We see that the combination and or in complement of each other, TCM and Western medicine. So TCM products are also covered in the medical insurance. So in the market, we have many herbal medicine products, TCM products, include the prepared slices and herbal extracts and some finished products, and also some products like decoction ready formula granules, which are very popular in recent years, and also some herbal extracts and products. So it is very popular and commonly used in the health service in the China market. So for the quality control, recent years, the government have taken some strictly actions from the whole life cycle, from the starting of the source to the the post-market. Each league, we have some actions from GAP to GMP and GLP and GSP, etc. So we also have some.
Sorry, Dr. Feng. Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe the question about in China, yeah, for the traditional Chinese medicine, yeah, the question like that. So maybe in other country, not permit use as the infusion or injection, yeah. But in China, yeah, injection for sterile product. But in China, for the TCM, they can use like for injection, infusion, yeah, for the systemic directly. So the question, what is the regulation in China? Yeah, this is permit in China use for the TCM in the sterile product.
We really have some injection products of TCM. I think it's about 20.
Or maybe, sorry, Dr. Feng, we have one colleague here can speak Chinese, yeah. So please, Dr. Fanny, maybe you can ask in Chinese, yeah. And Dr. Feng, please answer in Chinese, yeah, yeah.
OK。
韦教授你好。
我用汉语。
OK。
我用中文。是这样。
你听得到吗？听得到我的声音吗？韦教授你好，这个有一个问题，他们需要问，在过年那边，
对中药的注释，你们怎么样对中药在我们这里在印尼不可以用注释液的，但是在你们那边可以用，但是你用怎么样方法要在那边的？你可以用中文介绍一下，因为你的声音在这里不太清楚。
好，中药注射剂，在30年前在中国被批准上市，现在有30多个品种的中药注射剂。的确，它是一个非常特殊的剂型，因为是注射剂，所以它有一些安全性的风险，我们也非常关注啊。那么在10多年前，我们FDA 中国 FDA 呢对这些注射剂上市后的这些产品，正在进行一些重新的评价，特别是安全性和有效性的评价。如果通过了安全性和有效性评价的这些注射剂，可以继续在市场上这个流通和使用。如果没有通过呢，可能就要退出市场。这是一个从安全性、有效性和综合的风险评估的一个监管措施。目前我们正在进行之中。
好的，好的，谢谢Wei Jiaosu. Jadi pada prinsipnya TCM itu emang base-nya kan oral. Tapi dalam 10 tahun, lebih dari 10 tahun terakhir ini, di China itu FDA-nya mulai mengembangkan regulasi untuk produk-produk injeksi maupun infusion. Tapi itu sangat diatur dengan ketat mengenai toksisitas, kemudian ya masalah safety-nya lah. Safety-nya sangat diperhatikan melebihi dari yang sediaan oral, tapi itu diperbolehkan untuk digunakan di China. Gitu. Secara garis besar sih kayak gitu. Suaranya berebut-berebut nggak jelas soalnya.
Ya, thank you Dr. Feni. Ya.
Terima kasih Dr.
Mungkin saya
Fen.
bisa sharing juga sedikit ya. Saya pernah ke Guananmen Hospital. Ya, jadi memang kalau kita lihat produk-produk China untuk injeksi, infusi dari TCM, sebenarnya itu nggak dijual di pasar seperti toko obat yang oral gitu ya. Tetapi untuk rumah sakit TCM itu diperbolehkan dengan kontrol oleh dokter. Jadi memang di dalam rumah sakit yang besar itu ada dapurnya. Ada alat-alat canggih yang stainless semuanya untuk buat infusion, buat sterilisasi semuanya. Jadi itu by pasien biasanya. Bukan produk ini langsung dipakai untuk semua, enggak. Tetapi mungkin pasien ini dia membutuhkan kombinasi obat Chinese yang perlu disteril, ya. Mereka pasti membutuhkan juga tuh bagaimana seendapan daripada cairannya, ya. Karena memang saya lihat sendiri ada pasien kanker yang stadium 4, cewek, ya. Tapi dia jalan sambil membawa infusnya herbal. Dia jalan keliling rumah sakit, orangnya tuh nggak kelihatan sakit. Sehat ya, mukanya merah, badannya juga gemuk juga ya, cukup bagus semua. Mungkin kita lihat ini obatnya apa gitu ya. Tetapi biasanya tuh obat-obat begitu untuk meningkatkan imun ya. Sehingga pada waktu dia kemoterapi, dia nggak down ya. Nafsu makannya tetap ada, quality of life-nya itu tetap jalan. Ya. Jadi mungkin suatu waktu juga pasti dia akan misalnya meninggal, tetapi meninggal dalam keadaan bahagia. Ya, quality life-nya itu bagus. Ya. Dan itu saya lihat sendiri. Gitu loh. Ya, kalau di negara lain kita nggak tahu, di Indonesia ya, mungkin kalau udah cancer stadium 4 itu sudah sakit, bukan main ya. Dan mau meninggal juga mungkin belum bisa meninggal, tapi badannya tuh kasihan ya, kita lihat aja kasihan. Tapi kalau dengan TCM atau dengan tradisional kita ya, mungkin nanti kita kembangkan mungkin bisa seperti itu. Ya, baik, saya kira mungkin itu. Terima kasih. We still have 10 minutes, yeah. Maybe a question from the participant in the online. Ya, mungkin yang mau bertanya tetapi mungkin nggak bisa dalam bahasa Inggris, tidak apa-apa dalam bahasa Indonesia ya. Nanti saya coba translate in English. Silakan, ada yang dari chat. Ya, ini penanya ya dari Sahara ya kepada Pak Patrick. To Mr. Patrick, if I may, what are the challenge or potential in development of natural ingredient extract industry? Silakan Pak Patrick.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Sahara, for the question. I think I would think the challenges of natural ingredients industry going forward would be more on the development of good agriculture practice. I think that's something that not all ingredients currently in the market have the same level of GAP. So I think as an industry, we still have a lot of development in this space. And then for the second question, I think the opportunities, having seen Dr. Wei's presentation, I think we can all agree that it's very inspiring for industries here in Indonesia. So I think the opportunity, what we can see going forward is again, completing more clinical research on the medicinal plants in Indonesia. I believe the presentation from Dr. Wei mentioned 70,000. Indonesia's 30,000, of which I believe Dr. Tepi mentioned only 300 is in use today. So that would be the potential opportunity for all of us in the traditional medicine and ingredients space. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Patrick. Still any question from online participant? Or maybe in this room, you still have the question? So maybe I have a question for Dr. Feng. Yeah, Dr.
Yes.
Feng. Yeah, I see in your presentation, China already developed so many guidelines. Yeah, about AGCP. Yeah, about GNP for herbal and other. Yeah. So I would like to see, this is in Chinese or English? So if in English, you can share with us. In Chinese?
Yes.
Why in Chinese, not in English?
Not English.
Yeah, because we, of course, Indonesia and other country want to learn from China, yeah. So we, is possible, please translate in English, yeah. So maybe we can more easy to learn, yeah, to study in your guidelines for that. Is possible?
Yeah, I heard some people as in translation.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're planning to translate, yeah, the guidelines from Chinese to English, yeah. So we appreciate for that, and maybe 1 or 2 years, yeah. After that, we can receive your guidelines in English. Thank you very much, Dr. Feng.
Okay.
Also, maybe I have one question for China, yeah, for Dr. Feng, yeah. I have insight with a company from Indonesia, Traditional Medicine, yeah. Because for the one herbal, maybe in Indonesia, we categorize as the traditional medicine. So if we export to China, maybe this herbal is not traditional in China. Yeah.
Yes.
So, but can sell in China, because like we have experience with the curcuma santorisa, this is very general use in Indonesia. But if the product export to China, they not permit this product in China. Yeah, they say this is not traditional Chinese medicine.
Yes.
Maybe we have the clarification from you, please, Dr. Feng.
Yes, we have some registration guidelines for the lateral vaccine from other countries important. So in Chinese market, we have some we call the lateral vaccines from Germany and France, also some countries from Australia and some very few countries. These products was important as a new product called lateral medicines. We don't call the traditional Chinese medicine. We just call the lateral medicine. They must approved by registration of Chinese FDA. So after the registration and approved, they can be important into Chinese market. So we have some guidelines for these products for registration. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Feng. So maybe we still have the 1 minute. I would like to closing this session. Yeah. Okay, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for all our speaker. Oh. One. Okay, in the online participant. Okay, please. Gisatia Nuance Dwi Pratama. Yeah, please.
Thank you for the all the speakers. I want to ask 3 of you speakers from abroad. I already mentioned in the chat. I just want to ask about what if there are some herbs that not yet registered in Indonesian FDA, like the herbs is not cultivated originally in Indonesia. Is there any obstacle to register the foreign extract in Indonesia, or there is regulation that when registered the foreign extract should cultivate first in Indonesia? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kisanti. So you asked for the POM because this is the extract not cultivated in Indonesia from other country, but you want to export to Indonesia and you want to register. Yeah, maybe I would like to answer the question. Yeah, this is the possible. Yeah, because for example in Indonesia, yeah, we still have some company. Yeah.
Selamat sore Bapak Ibu, kebanggaan Badan POM berhubung waktu sudah menunjukkan tepat pukul 16.00 sore. Jangan lupa Bapak Ibu untuk mengisi presensi sebelum pulang. Salam hangat, Sekretaris Utama Badan POM.
Itu menunjukkan waktunya sudah selesai, kita harus pulang. Ya, ya. Jadi Mas, itu boleh saja ya. Kalau memang kita produksi obat tradisional di Indonesia, ternyata bahan bakunya seperti salah satu contohnya ginseng. Ginseng itu nggak pernah tumbuh di Indonesia, Tetapi ada produk kita yang mengandung ginseng dari Cina atau dari Korea. Artinya bisa saja bahan bakunya dari luar, tetapi sudah standarisasi, kemudian sudah ada sertifikat of analysis, ya, itu bisa didaftar untuk digunakan di Indonesia. Kira-kira seperti itu, Mas. Sudah clear? Saya kira sudah clear ya. Baik, mungkin karena waktunya juga yang membatasi kita untuk berdiskusi ya. Kita tepuk tangan untuk speaker kita. Thank you Dr. Eileen, thank you Dr. Fen, and thank you Mr. Patrick ya for presentation. So we closing this session ya. And we hope anything you can find a benefit of the sharing session of this. Thank you. I give back to the MC. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much to our moderator and speakers for the enlightening and insightful presentation. We truly appreciate your time and expertise. And I believe that we have all learned about valuable knowledge from your sharing today. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a warm round of applause again. Baik Bapak dan Ibu yang kami hormati, sebelum kita mengakhiri rangkaian acara pada siang hari ini, kita akan dengarkan terlebih dahulu penutup yang akan disampaikan oleh Direktur Standardisasi Obat Tradisional, Suplemen Kesehatan dan Kosmetik. Kepada yang terhormat Ibu Dian Putri Anggraweni, SSI APTM Farm, kami persilahkan.
Ya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sore Bapak Ibu semua. Sebenarnya bukan penutup ya Mbak Al, karena besok kita masih ada workshop satu lagi. Jadi besok kami masih ada workshop yang kedua di jam 9. Mungkin saya hanya warm up untuk hari ini ya. Jadi alhamdulillah workshop kita di hari pertama ini berjalan dengan lancar, walaupun mohon maaf waktunya agak mepet-mepet karena tadi pembukaannya agak sedikit telat. Dari catatan kami beberapa hal terkait dengan pembicara hari ini, di mana yang pertama kaitannya dengan Pak Deputi, tadi bicara kaitannya dengan regulasi. Sebenarnya tadi izin Pak Tepi yang pertanyaan terakhir mungkin harusnya di sesi pagi tadi bertanyanya terkait dengan regulasi yang ada di Badan POM untuk obat bahan alam. Kemudian di materi kedua dengan Pak Yosi kita bicara kaitannya dengan ekstraksi, di mana ekstraksi ini merupakan titik kritis dalam menentukan kualitas obat bahan alam karena metode pelarut dan juga kondisi prosesnya sangat mempengaruhi komposisi senyawa aktif. Kemudian dari Prof. El Fahmi kembali lagi kita bicara kaitannya dengan bagaimana penjaminan mutu dari obat bahan alam. yang meliputi dari aspek keamanan, khasiat dan juga kualitasnya melalui penerapan standarisasi. Kemudian hal yang baru tadi kita belajar kaitannya dengan iradiasi dari Dr. Hendik, di mana teknologi iradiasi ini memang terbukti efektif ya untuk mengurangi kontaminan, kemudian memperpanjang masa simpan, serta juga menjaga mutu bahan baku dan juga produk jadi dari obat tradisional. Kemudian tadi sesi kedua di siang hari dari Pak Patrick, kita belajar kaitannya dengan jaminan mutu, mulai dari pemilihan bahan baku hingga distribusi produk. Mungkin nanti di hari terakhir, di hari Kamis, seperti tadi sudah disampaikan, kita juga ada site visit untuk lebih memperluas lagi wawasan kita kaitannya dengan produksi ekstrak di tempatnya Pak Patrick. Kemudian dari WHO, dari Ellen, bicara kaitannya dengan kebijakan di WHO untuk mendukung pengembangan TCM. Nah tadi bicara tentang draft strategi WHO, tadi bicara dengan negara mana, sebenarnya semua negara ikut dalam draft strategi itu dan juga salah satunya Indonesia. Jadi kita juga menjadi penyumbang kaitannya dengan draft strategi yang sedang disusun oleh WHO, dan kedepannya WHO akan mengembangkan kaitannya dengan International Herbal Pharmacopoeia. Itu juga sedang disusun oleh WHO, makanya sekalian promosi juga di bulan Oktober Indonesia menjadi hosting untuk kegiatan IRCH yang tadi disampaikan oleh Dr. Ellen, kan ada IRCH di di WHO. Nah di Oktober ini Indonesia menjadi host untuk menerima 49 negara yang akan hadir di dalam kegiatan tersebut. Kemudian terakhir mungkin di Cina kita bicara kaitannya dengan sharing ya, bagaimana penerapan jaminan mutu di Cina yang juga dapat memperluas wawasan kita untuk obat herbal di Indonesia. Jadi bagaimana kita bisa juga menerapkan TCM yang sudah ada tadi. Salah satu contoh penerapannya juga karena Pak Tepi dulu pernah berkunjung ke sana ya Pak. Jadi kita juga bisa mengenal sebenarnya luas sekali ya penerapan TCM di Cina, dan moga-moga penerapan itu juga bisa kita terapkan di Indonesia. Mungkin itu saja dari saya. Selanjutnya kita berjumpa lagi untuk workshop kedua kita besok. Mohon kehadiran Bapak Ibu semua. Terima kasih sekali lagi untuk waktunya. Saya tutup. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sore Bapak Ibu semua.
Baik, kami sampaikan terima kasih kepada Ibu Direktur. Dengan demikian, berakhir sudah workshop kita pada hari pertama ini. Kami sampaikan terima kasih atas partisipasi Bapak Ibu, dan jangan lupa untuk hari kedua esok kita akan mulai kembali pada pukul 9 pagi. Sampai bertemu di hari atau di sesi selanjutnya. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.